wants to tame me. You can't catch me on the run, cause I'm gone, yeah. I blaze trails, set fire to what's behind me. No, I'm never looking back, I'm on the run. I could only ever be what I'm made to be. It feels good when I'm living on the edge. Watch me now, roll like thunder, gonna shake the ground. Can't stop me now, I don't give up and I won't back down. I'm a force of nature, can't be contained. I got lightning running all through my veins. Watch me now, watch me now.
Hi, I'm Wyatt Milam. I'm from Canova, West Virginia. When I'm back home, you'll find me at my local Par-Mar store.
We have that gold and blue pride at your local Par-Mar store. We are coming to your neighborhood soon. West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Maryland, we have you covered. Download the Par-Mar app and sign up for the Par-Mar Rewards Card. Food, gas, groceries, and more, we are gold and blue proud, and we are Par-Mar stores.
If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon.
Northern Eagle Distributing, proudly serving Anheuser-Busch products to West Virginia. On September 2nd, for the WVU versus Penn State football game, the WolfMan's Call is going to be going live for a pregame at the Pallet Bar in Scott Depot, West Virginia. There'll be 3 ways to watch this. One in person at the Pallet Bar starting at 5 o'clock, and the broadcast will go at 6. Or you can watch it from the WolfMan's Call Network at one of the fine establishments. Or also you can watch it at the Voice of College Football. That's West Virginia's Voice of College Football. If your favorite place doesn't have it and you want to watch it, tell that proprietor, go ahead and sign up to the WolfMan's Call Network at wolfmanscall@gmail.com. Again, that's wolfmanscall@gmail.com or at West Virginia VOCFB. You're not going to want to miss the action, and it's all coming to you from the WolfMan's Call. Phil Breakdown, baby. September 2nd, starting at 6 o'clock. Get signed up. Boom! Oh, yeah. Hey, I just realized I'm still wearing the same outfit as when I did the broadcast and the show from a week ago. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the WolfMan's Call. I am fired up. You know what week it is? That's right. It's Penn State, the Nittany Lions. Get ready for that, because you better start training yourself, because you're going to be annoyed after about the pregame, okay? You're going to be annoyed at hearing this roaring lion up there at Happy Valley. Not so happy when you go up there because you got the game face on. Make sure you get painted up. I'm sure you're going to be wearing your WVU colors, and I'm sure you're going to be pre-fired up. You know what I mean. That's right. Hello, everybody. I'm the Wolfman, Dale Wolfland, and I welcome you. And this is really some exciting times, and again, with this show, we just started the show a couple months ago, and we've really, really tried to take it and give you the truth of everything about the show. It's just saying, this is what we think is the truth, regardless. Is this the truth? And is it factually based up? And factually, I have to tell you, I think we do, because I'm factually held accountable by Frank Fear, who you're going to see here in a little bit, each and every week. So there's not any chance I can go ahead and go astray and start telling all kinds of tales of this or that or wonder or greatness or down here, whatever it is, because I'm held to the wire. And I'm going to be that, always going to be that. And so this season, as we kick off the season, I thought it was only appropriate to tell you about the WolfMan's Call and what it means and what our goals are, because I'm going to tell you exactly what my goal is. I want to be right here, live streaming, the voice to the Mountaineer Nation, telling you what exactly is going on in sports, whether it refers to WVU, probably, because that's our major focus. But we're going to be going in high school. We're going to be going to college. We go across. We have guys from the SEC. We have guys from the ACC. We have Cully in here from Florida State Seminoles last Thursday. Awesome, right? But we're going to be going around coverage around the nation. But there's a focus on WVU. And when it comes to WVU football, I'm not going to run the company line. Did that for 12 years, company line. I'm not going to be the idiot line either over there on the other side. And you probably know who I'm talking about and the other people. Okay, I'm going to be right there with the truth because I'm going to tell you exactly why. Because I have a lot of years of experience, a lot of years of wisdom in this field. And when I say it, I know how to coach. My mentor in coaching was Don Nalen and Mike Jacobs. Mike Jacobs was the offensive coordinator for 2 11-0 teams. I studied under him. I studied under the rest of the coaches for WVU. So I understand. I've been around this. I've coached at WVU. I played at WVU. Brother Ron played at WVU. I have been at WVU football and been associated, broadcast for 10 years over WVU football. So again, I'm coming to you why the WolfMan's call. We're going to be the purveyors of truth. Again, not the company line, not the idiot line. Okay, we're going to be right there telling exactly what's going on. And I appreciate it. I'm going to be the biggest platform and the strongest platform. And I'll shout it out. And I'm not afraid. I've had people say, what, are you afraid to say this or that? I'm not afraid. But I'm also not an idiot. And I'm also not a company man. But I am courteous. And I will be courteous to all those and show respect for all those that want to come on. They always say, join the conversation, Mountaineer Nation. And the panel today with Frank Fear, I call it the Frank Fear Hours, jokingly, but it's kind of almost turned into that in ways. But there's so much good information going on. And then we have the panel, and we're going to have Daryl Prue, we're going to have Hawkeye. We got first time Coach Greg Christ, who coached high school, 27 years, man. Talk about experience. And he knows West Virginia's got his own show. And, the cool thing about it is that all these guys, they care. They care, man, about WVU. And that's why I bring them on. And that's why you see my Mountaineer brothers, football players, basketball players. I mean, you got Daryl Prue, Hall of Fame, coming on all the time because he cares. And we care about WVU athletics. And to see it right now it's going to be a really important topic, really important day. Before I get to that, I got one last thing to do. I promise you, I'd go ahead and do my QR codes. And we're going to start off with this way right here. Right here, Frank Fear, the sports column. All right, the sports column is all about with Frank Fear and the band of brothers, then and now, 66 to 70 Mountaineers, publish a book. But the sports column is about letting people, anyone, go ahead and publish your articles, sports articles. Now, they don't turn many people away, but you got to be at least somewhat decent. You can't suck. So at least do a good job when you present it, but the sports column. But go ahead, QR that, man, because you can go ahead and get published. And if you're a youngin', man, I'd be all over this doing my sports articles. That's your opportunity to jump in. Go here. Paul Mini rechargers and batteries. I've said it all along, man. Go green, save green, moolah, right? Would you go ahead and do that? You never buy a AA battery again. Never buy a AA battery again. Think about this. 15 billion tons of alkaline batteries a year in the waste. Right here, this is rechargeable. Never buy a AA battery again. If it goes bad, they replace it for free, no cost. And then we're going to go right on down to AGC, Arston Grange Company Hemp Dip. Switch it, man. Get off the nicotine. Get off the tobacco. This is your way. It's in Parmar stores, or you can go to wolfmandip.com. Takes you right to Arston Grange Company, AGC, their sales, and you can order it online. It's awesome. It's great. It gets you off the nicotine. It'll kill you, man. Get off of it right there. And then the last one right here, West Virginia United. Johnny Camo, former offensive lineman for the Mountaineers. I love this. And he's got the new website up, and it's United in Purpose. West Virginia, we stand. Because you know why? Because we need to stand together, Mountaineer Nation. I don't care about the borders of West Virginia. I'm talking about Mountaineer Nation. You know why? Because right now, I said a conversation coming up, we're at a crossroads university-wise, for academics, university-wise, athletics. That's right. You're going to find out today, but there's a lot of information to learn. So get fired up, get ready. All this as we start off this 2023 football season in your blood better start to get fired up and boiling, because mine is. All right. With that being said, let's introduce the crew today. Got to start with, I'm going to call it the Frank Fear Hour. I'm going to go ahead with Frank Fear. Frank, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, Dale. Good to see you. And you've got me fired up. That was a great intro.
Well, I hope so, man, because it's a great intro to the season, right?
That's right.
All right, very good. And I'm going to save our guest for last, so Coach Chris, don't get excited over there, but I'm going to go this. Hawkeye, what you doing?
Hey, I'm ready. I'm ready to rock and roll, man. You've got me pumped up.
All right. If the Hawkeye's pumped up, I don't know what else to say. It's all good. And, of course, WVU Hall of Fame hoops. I even got hoop action here today. Even though it's not quite basketball season, it is coming. So we're excited about that. What's up, DP?
What's up, Dale? How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, brother. Doing good, man. Good to see you. And
I see.
Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I have my coffee. You know what? I haven't found an advertiser for coffee yet. So if you're loco out there and you want to advertise in a Wolfman's call, woo, hey, Wolfman's call, gmail.com, baby. Just thought I'd throw that in there. And without further ado, Coach Greg Christie has his own show every Thursday night. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I was the first time to ever go on his show twice. All right, twice. I don't know if that's probably been done since, but the first one to do it twice. And 27 years, gotta get it right. He coached at Mount Hope and Midland Trail basketball. We love it. Very knowledgeable. Coach, how you doing?
All right, Dale. How are you? It's good to see you. And, man, I wish I had that energy 10 years ago. I don't want it now because I'm too old for too much energy. Yeah, you got me fired up. And Frank Fear sitting right beside you. He's been a two-time guest too, so you got a little competition there.
You know what? That just pisses me off. All right, gentlemen, we got a lot to talk about today. I'm going to jump into it, man. But first, let's go ahead. What's your start off? I'm going to just go with you, Hawkeye, because I know that, Hawkeye, you represent Mountaineer Nation out there. You are a guy that's watched it. You've been a fan. Obviously, I call you Hawkeye because you're a high school official, meaning that you're going ahead and check it out. You can see if a foot was in at the whites of the line or not. What's your view right now coming into 2023 football season?
Are we talking about high school football? Or...
Yeah, I'm talking about WVU, man.
Okay.
Give you props. Let's go.
Okay, all right, WVU football. Well, we got a big one coming up next weekend. It's going to be a real test, and I don't know how we're going to fare, but I expect to see some blue collar football. Now,
right.
Neil Brown's come out and said, "Hey, we're going to be physical. We're getting back to fundamentals." So that's what I expect to see. 4 quarters of that.
Very good. Excellent. And, hey, Coach Chris, let's go. Jump in, man. Give us your take, you hoopster.
Well, I tell you this, as a huge WVU fan, I'm eternally optimistic. And I think, with our offensive line coming back pretty much intact, pressure's on for us to win. And I think we're in good hands and ready to roll. I'm looking forward to it. And I think if he's got everybody gelling, it's going to be good.
All right.
Hang in there with him.
All right. One hoopster did next. DP, what's up?
What's up, man? I just think how
Earl
to compete, win or lose. Win or lose, I just think, it's how you play. You can't base the season off of one game. You know what I mean? It's just like, if you come out there, you compete, you do the best you can. You don't lay down, you just compete hard. And, just like I said, games is full of mistakes. It's just how you play afterwards. And so if these guys go out there and compete, I'm encouraged. If they don't compete, I'm gonna be a little worried about the season.
Yeah, I love it. All right, Frank Fair, what do you think?
Well, I think DP nailed it. Everyone did. I really appreciate going last here so I could listen to what they said. But it's toughness, it's passion. We've got to show that we belong on the same field with Penn State. I think Mark Parsons indicated that this might be the largest away crowd, if it's 106 or 107,000 West Virginia in its history has played before in football. But and based on the specifically about the Penn State game, based on the data information I shared last week, I'm going to go a little bit higher in terms of chances of winning than ESPN. They're saying about 12%. I think based on the information, this is all speculation, obviously. I think it's about 25%, and I think higher, twice as high to cover 50%. The line hasn't changed. I'm not a gambler, but it stayed pretty steady. It stayed steady at 20.5. So let's just go.
Yeah, maybe that has something to do with Pat McAfee calling the dark horse of the Big 12. You never know what's going on. But I will say this. All right, Mountaineers, this is your chance. Neil Brown, it's your stage. This is your stage. You wanted another year. You think you can do better. You think you have what it takes to do better. This is your stage. So, as anything, it's either put up or get out. That's the way it's supposed to go, right? But I say put up or get out, man, because that's just the way it's set up right now, and you need to show. You need to show out. And I think I think that's pretty much the truth of the matter. So we're going to go ahead. Let's get started now. Before we get started, let's just put this in practical sense here. Is what we're talking about is not even just so much as right now. What we're going to talk about here is it's a little bit of now, but it's a trend that's going on, and this trend, West Virginia cannot sustain it if it wants to keep with where it's been and where we've been as a university. Now, is this danger today? Well, I don't know, but academically it might be for some a lot of jobs. For sports, is it that danger? So no, but it's getting shorter, man. It's getting time where you're gonna have to, what's it said? Like I said, Neil Brown, you got to show up, you got to win, and you have to become relative. Frank Fear, let's start off putting the academics. Let's look at it from the 30,000 above look and saying, how can this all correlate together? That's the point. We want to correlate what's going on and what we see as potential problems unless WVU makes a turn. Go ahead.
Yeah, great intro. Thanks, Wolf. I always look at things in terms of the general picture in history. So not just WVU, but all college football, in this case, do the same thing for basketball. And then drill down to West Virginia. And I've written about this. You can see it at the sports column, and it's in the book as well, Band of Brothers, Then and Now. And that is, if you go back to the 20s and 30s, there were a lot of college football teams. And a good share of those football teams weren't playing football as we got into the mid-50s through the early to mid-70s. A lot of schools dropped out, and schools like Gonzaga, great in basketball, they had a football team. Marquette was a power, would play Michigan State. They didn't play football anymore. St. Mary's, another of California, another great basketball team, played football, and they were a national power. They didn't continue their football team. And so what we had was a shift in thinking. The reason they were all dropping it was because it was becoming too expensive. But it depends now, where's the money coming from? The way they thought about it back then was the money is going to come from our general fund, okay? And so football is competing with English or biology. Then the thinking was, wait a minute, we got something that's marketable here. We can actually make money from this, and alumni and other donors are our partners. And so today we have more colleges playing college football than any time in the history of what's going on. And one of the things that we can talk about more, if you want, Wolf, is this relationship between, and you talked it, nailing winning, the relationship between winning, not just having a football and basketball team. That's usually all schools have basketball teams, almost all. It's football. The relationship between having a successful football team and the impact on college, general college or university success. And you asked me to dig into some of the research on that. I've done it, but let me stop here. Be happy to share some of that.
Well, all right, Coach Chris. What are you thinking about when you see this, what you see here, talking about a correlation between, you said, well, it's just academics. The athletic department is different. I'm talking perception now about a whole university. What do you say?
Right. Well, as a fan, like I am, I never played college sports, but I am a huge fan. And I don't think there's any question when you mention a school, to a fan like myself, UCLA, for example, USC, Michigan, Ohio State, you automatically think about their sports teams, their basketball, football teams. And I think, in our situation, with these cuts that are happening right now, I just think public perception wise, it's a bad thing. And I think, looking at it from a fan perspective, somebody looking from the outside in is going to see this and think, man, that place is falling apart. What's going on there? And as a parent of an athlete, that's one of the things you look at. I have a son that plays college basketball here at Wheeling, and one of the first things we looked at, of course, were the academics. And not that he's a rocket scientist or anything, but far from it, by the way. But we looked at that because that was important to us, and he looked at it trying to figure out what he wanted to major in and that sort of thing. And I think people are going to look at that and just think, man, what's going on here with this place? And vice versa, if your teams are successful and you're winning, people look at that as making you a great school. And I think we've had a few issues here in the past couple of years where we're already kind of looked down upon, and then you throw in these academic cuts along with that, and I think this is serious. I think we're treading a fine line right here, and this year, athletically, I think it's extremely important, and hopefully this academic thing can get straightened out. It's sad that ever happened. It's been coming for years. And pretty much they let it happen, and now we got to get it fixed. And I don't think cutting programs and faculty is the answer. Surely to goodness, there's some other things that could be cut, some other ways they can approach this. But I think in general, it's just a really bad look for the university.
That's for sure. When you look at this ATP, crossroads or not, did you ever see the movie The Secret of My Success, right? They said, we got to make cuts. And Michael, he goes like this. He goes, no, we got to expand, baby. You get stronger. What did Brett Yormark do? He went to Big 12. They expanded, right? Michael J. Fox, you don't cut, you expand. Brother, let me ask you this, man. Okay, so you're 14th in football. They're picked. It's perception now, right? It's the media poll, 14th football. You're 14th in quarterback, how good you are. These are all perceptions. Neil Brown, head coach, 14th in the Big 14th? I mean, 14th. Come on now. Let's go, right? And then you're 14th in potential, which is what they just made up crap. Potential best schools. You're 14th in the Big 12. Your perception is last. Is WVU at a crossroads? Because decisions today, not meaning today, meaning this season, this year, affect tomorrow, meaning the near future to come.
You asking me that one?
Yeah.
So I mean, we talked about it before. Winning changes everything, and both programs hasn't been really. Basketball has been okay. Football hasn't for the last how many years. You have COVID. COVID coming off of COVID, things were down. Then not winning. So we in the basketball year, we begging for wins and begging to get the NCAA, and the product we watched on TV wasn't that great. You know what I mean? So, I think I always thought sports brought in more students. Students wanted to come to
That's the truth now.
games. You see all the fans. Yeah, so you see fans at your game, and you know what I mean, stuff like that. And they travel. The question that I have is, how do you get $40 million in the hole at a major state university? I'm like, where is the money going? Cutting stands, or I don't, what I mean. During COVID, my grandmother passed away, and Coach Catlett and his wife donated money to the fund of some kind of fund for them, for the staff. He donated, I think, almost $10,000 to $20,000 in my grandmother's name to staff that's struggling with work and stuff like that. So, like, where is the $40 million? and you cutting out programs. You're cutting out academic programs. You're cutting out the majors. But where's the money going? It's like that's the question I have.
Okay, that's a good point, DP. And then I'm going to just throw it to you, Hawkeye. You're seeing this now, man. You're seeing your university, the one that you follow, that you've loved all your life, pretty much, for time that you're conscious of yourself and the world around you. This is it. Academic cuts. You're cutting world language, man. That's a proposal. I don't know what the deal is exactly. Frank's going to tell us. But how do you cut world language, man? I mean, I had to have 2 of them to graduate for WVU.
Well, I don't know about now, but it used to be you had to have at least one world language just to get into college. That was a prerequisite. So West Virginia already has a perception as being one of the easiest universities to get into. And if you keep cutting your academic standards, I mean, it's not going to look good. The boat's taking on water, guys. I mean, it's not looking good for West Virginia University in general.
Okay,
DP's right. Winning's going to fix it.
Let me ask you this. Okay,
one question.
Hang on, dude. Let me finish my thought. No, let me finish. You hold on to your thought. I got to finish or I'll forget. But let me ask you this. So that it's taking on the water, but you can fix this. It's not too late. You can turn this around. All you need is leadership that understands the situation, admits to the situation, and then goes ahead. This is the solution. Instead of saying this is the problem, we already know what the problem is. Now give us the solution. Go ahead, Hawkeye, finish that.
Well, I think the question is, what needs to be fixed, and then realistically, what can be fixed. And when we say right now, I'm just talking about the foreseeable future. Guy is still here. He's had, these problems has followed him everywhere he's went. And a year ago, he said, WVU was soluble. Our enrollment was growing. And this was, I don't know if it was during COVID or before COVID, but enrollment was down. I mean, everybody knew that. And now we're 45 million in the hole, and we still got the same guy driving the boat that's taking on water.
Go ahead, DP.
So, okay, they cut the programs, but did they add any programs? You know what I mean? I know times have changed a little bit with everything.
Well,
you cut out
the only thing they've added,
the
only thing they've added is administrators. The only thing they've added is administrators. Now that takes me to Frank. All right, Frank, let's go. Let's give out the whole shaboom.
Well, thanks. DP's question has been answered in the national press. Not just one place, but multiple places. And there was an article just published this morning in the Wall Street Journal that you can read online. Even though it's behind a paywall, I've already found sources that have taken it and are putting it out there. And I think the question that DP raised is, where did the money go? Well, the way to frame this is it's not that the money was there to spend. Projects were put in place and the money was spent, not that the university had it. And, I was thinking about this in terms of winning. You mentioned it, you've harped on it, Wolf, and I appreciate that. It's the right thing. What the great Wayne Gretzky said when asked what makes you a world-class hockey player, he said, I always skate to where I think the puck is going to be. A lot of my other teammates, they skate to where the puck is.
Oh, you have no idea just what you just said there. Because there's an offensive line. You don't know where the linebacker is right now. You go to where you think it's based on the play behind you.
That's right. Yeah. Hey, we may lose Wolf here. He may put out his uniform and run to the nearest football field. But here's the thing is that I've been in positions like that where you have to make a judgment about where your organization is going to go in the future. And it's clear. I mean, it's not opinion. It's documented all over the place that Gordon Gee wanted to grow the university to 40,000 students. And he made a judgment that we've got to expand to be able to attract those students. It's not as though they're going to come with the current infrastructure. Mm-hmm. So they spent a lot of money, and you can read about it in a variety of sources. including the Wall Street Journal, about how much was spent, but the students didn't come. And one of the odd things about this, for a couple of years there, applications were up significantly. But when it came to students making a decision to come, it was a fraction of that. And so it's all a crapshoot. And then the other thing is, and I would relate this to the sports side. Yeah, you got this nil and all this other stuff. And a lot of people are saying, hey, the system's got to be changed. Jim Harbaugh today at Michigan in this press conference basically started the press conference with the way the system is operating now is untenable. We've got to change it and be more student athlete focused. They got to get a bigger piece of the pie. But, if you're Wren Baker, you've got to manage the system that exists. You can't run off to Washington and spend 50% of your time on what's it going to be in 10 years. You've got to run your program. And, if you've been in an executive position like that, there's only so much you can delegate to others. And so I think what we have, from what I can tell, and I obviously as an alum, I love the place. I've stayed connected to it over a half century. I think it's generally well managed as universities go. I've been a little bit concerned, but I'm concerned generally, going back to what I said before. I was an administrator. I was a vice dean of a college. Too many damn administrators. And I would have liked to have seen more administrative, particularly middle management. Let's focus on that class. And, think about it, Wolf. If you've got a problem running your football team, what do? We're going to play without the left guard. But we're going to keep all the coaches? Ludicrous. But I think the issue here is it's a confluence of the worst possible storm. Let me give you some data, and then I'll stop here. And it's amazing, is that more people have died in the state of West Virginia every year than kids born into the state of West Virginia for 25 years, since 1997.
Okay. That's pretty sad. Okay, give us a good one.
Well, the fact of the matter is that I'm not sure there's any there's not good ones here.
I hear you.
In other words, the demographics are all against being able to grow West Virginia-based students, and then you've got to compete. You've got to compete for students regionally, Eastern Ohio, Western Pennsylvania, and the other thing is that the legislature has cut WVU's budget by millions and millions of dollars over the last 20 years. The number is in the Wall Street Journal. It will shock you. And so you've got to manage the system with the resources you have as a public university. And you heard, I'll end with this, you heard Wren Baker the other day, and Hawkeye and I had a conversation about this. West Virginia doesn't have certain things athletically that other schools do. I mean, I mentioned to a couple of people on the panel, including Wolf and Daryl and Hawkeye, that, I think, was it three or four coaches on the University of Michigan football staff, including Harbaugh, are in endowed positions. Donors have stepped up. And if you go to these Big Ten and others, SEC stadiums, they all have suites with big donors spending big money to entertain their clients. And so there was a leadership call made. We're going to expand and go to 40,000. It didn't pan out. All the reports are saying that. And the university's done, I think, a generally good job of managing, but the resources coming from the state, the decline in the percentage of students available, especially in West Virginia, it's tough. That's a tough job.
Yeah. All right. So, Coach Chris.
Yeah, I was going to interject here, Frank. One thing that caught my eye in the article from the Journal was the fact that the spending over this 20-year period, I think it was 02 to 22, had increased by 38%. DP was asking about where the money went. The spending increased 38%. Student enrollment only went up 7% during that time.
That's right. Yes.
And I think, you look at those expenditures, some of that I think is necessary to boost enrollment. That's why, because you got to have facilities, buildings, et cetera, et cetera. However, there's a lot of those expenditures, if you read a little deeper into it, that could definitely be cut. And I'm talking several $1 billion, for travel and things like that. And I think when you look at that, you see these expenditures going. You're going to have expenditure increases, no question. But what they were doing was looking and projecting this enrollment increase. It just didn't happen.
Right.
But again, I said how they could not see this coming. The legislator's been cutting that, the funding for years, 10, 15 years, they've cut it every year. And, to sit there and say at some point, we're not going to have a problem is ludicrous. And it's just hard to wrap your head around the fact that we sit here and let this get to the point that it is right now.
And I would say this, I looked at the article while you were talking. The number here is reported by the Wall Street Journal. The state funding was cut to WVU since 2000 by over 50%.
Yeah.
And Wolf, we talked about the fact that there is no institution in the state of West Virginia like West Virginia University, state flagship. It's close to the people. It's a state land grant. It's at the top of the food chain with respect to research. And they've cut the budget 50% since 2000, more than 50%.
And they didn't cut it all at one time.
No, over those 20 years.
All right, let's move on, gentlemen. All right, DP, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question to that one too, because is that a G problem? Now, G trying to, it looked like to me, G was trying to expand it to help, with this deficit that a lot of people didn't know since 2000. Is he trying to, because he has a different vision, and because the vision didn't get to where we wanted to, and he's getting, sided by the government, is it a G fault? I don't know if it's a G fault, an administrative fault. Yeah, he's hired some people he shouldn't have hired, but I think you hired them you get the people in. It looks like something like, you trying to do something, somebody's behind you, picking at every time you move 3 steps forward, somebody's picking 5 steps behind you. And that's what it looks like, what y'all saying.
Oh, okay. So I understand what you're saying, DP, but there's one guy on the watch. The buck stops somewhere, and it's got to be the guy that's projecting out. So that, to me, these are Gordon Gee cuts. Everywhere he's gone, I can't say that he's left it better. So I think that's a trail. I don't understand why he continues to do so. If you, this is really a sports show. I'm not going to get into busting on an old man there like that and doing it. But I'm going to tell you this, is that this is Hawkeye to me is this. All right. You are affecting reality. This is a sports talk show, but your academic cuts. All right. I could go to Coach Chris and he could say, listen, if a parent says, well, wait a minute, you got academic cuts here. Why do I want to go? Virginia Tech's not cutting. Virginia Tech, but you know what? They offered my son, and they got world languages. Right. They got world languages at Virginia Tech. In fact, you can go down the line and do that over and over and over again. It affects the recruiting world. When I'm talking about perception, right now, WVU is percepted in football. I'm going to talk football last. Do you know how many times I can tell you? I was on the football staff. I coached on football. I played there. How many coaches from other teams, even before the Big 12, we go back to the Penn State, said, you don't want to go to West Virginia. They're a bunch of hillbillies. They're a bunch of uneducated people down there. I mean, Daryl Prue, you got recruited. You were at Washington, of all places, D.C., all right? What do they tell you about WVU? They put it down. And when you go ahead and you put this perception into it, it only hurts recruiting. And I'm going to go give Hawkeye a shot here. Go ahead.
Well, West Virginia's always had that stigma, but as far as the university and these cuts, less doesn't always equal more. So the more we take away, the less appeal we have. So you're right. When a family is sitting with a student athlete and they're saying, hey, what do you think about West Virginia? Well, they don't offer this anymore. They don't offer that, but Pitt does, or Virginia Tech or Maryland. The scales have tipped. We're no longer relevant. That's just how I feel. That's where we're going. I mean, we're not going to be relevant if we don't get this corrected.
That's true. And now, so this is it. Okay. Last thing we're going to talk about is, because then we're going to go ahead and talk about some other issues more involved with sports. we're going to get it going here. But, Coach Chris, let's go finish up here, man, about what you're thinking about, how to end this, the solution. Give us a solution. One idea, doesn't have to be fixing the problem today, but give us an idea how you would try to turn it around.
Well, I think, and one thing Hawk mentioned there, as far as the major, I don't even think it has to be something that a kid wants to major in. If they see the cuts, that's going to affect them. I don't care what the cuts are. Anyway, well, I think, like Frank said, I think you've got to look at administration. You have to look at this middle management area. You start trimming the fat a little bit there. I think there's probably, and I think any of us five could probably go in there and look and say, okay, here's some cuts that can be made. Obviously the expenditures, you can't get that back. But you can look on down the road and look at this enrollment decrease, and you have to think that that's probably going to continue, or at least, try to hold it steady, and then make that, that fat trimming as you go. It can't be all at once. It didn't take a year to get in this situation. Yep. It's going to take several years to get out of this situation. All right. But you have to do it positively. You can't do the negative stuff.
That's what we're finishing up on right here. Okay, DP, give me some positive.
I mean, like, at the end of the day, I helped change that narrative. It wasn't no guys coming from Washington, D.C., that's African-American. And then you get the Chris Brooks and everybody else that come through. It's the same thing with all the sports. But the biggest problem in all the sports and in administration, I hate to say it, how many African-Americans are there? A lot of kids don't, they major what they major in.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the main thing people look at now is diversity. How much diversity does West Virginia University have in athletics or in the academic settings? So, that's somebody parents wants to feel comfortable with somebody. We had a Garrett Ford, you had, we had Ron Brown. It was different for me. I grew up there. It made me a whole lot different. With this new world, parents want to feel comfortable sending their players there because, one, they think West Virginia is this and West Virginia is that. I thought West Virginia was the least racist place I've been in my life. You know what I mean? So it's just a perception. You know what I mean?
But again, that's what we're talking about today is perception.
Yeah.
But you're right. Listen, Garrett Ford was there all those years. He was there 40 plus years at WVU. But you're saying, so I'm going to finish it for you because we got to move on. But you're saying diversity, good step forward, right? That's what you're saying, DP.
A great step forward. A great step forward.
All right, we're going to leave it at that. All right, Hawkeye, what do you say?
Well, anytime you restructure, the cuts usually start at the top. I think that's just the business model. And I think that at WVU, the administration, everybody said it, but I think you're too top heavy with really big salaries. And they might think it may be consolidating some of these programs together. Bring some of these programs together and not have all these different department heads and chairs. Consolidate and narrow down the people that they really need to keep the program alive. Because a lot of these programs have very few students in them from what I've read. So maybe consolidation and you can keep it alive.
All right. I'm going to tell you this right here. This is my viewpoint. You can take it or leave it because it's the Wolfman's calling my show. I'm going to give it. All right. And that is this. Cut the administration. I was there. Athletic department. Woo! It's fat, baby. It's fat with that middleman. I'm not talking about PHAT fat. I'm talking about FAT. All right, that's what it is. I had somebody. Now listen. All right, I wasn't going nowhere in the varsity club, in the Mountaineer Athletic Club. All right, I hit my peak, baby. I hit it early. All right, I hit my margin. But I'm going to tell you what. There was an assistant, AD this, AD that. All right, all these ADs professionally trying to match whatever it is. Cut the fat. All right, excellent. Diversity. Go ahead. I'm going to say I want more diversity, baby. All right, I want more dudes that are from Alaska in there as well, and chicks. All right, well, we're going to put all diversity involved in this. All right, Hawkeye. I'm going to tell you, man. I agree with you. What you got to do is you got to go positive. All right, and you got to go ahead and consolidate. That's what they do. They call it consolidation. So you can get those expenditures out. And Coach Chris, you were right on, man. I totally agree with you because it is FAT fat. All right. And of course, Frank Beard, thank you for all that, the data, the story. Listen, folks, we're telling you now, man, budget cuts, all this perception. It's about perception. Perception is reality. Perception is reality. I can't tell you how much that actually means in sports in a lot of areas, okay? I've been in the university system. I know it. I understand what it is. I understand where I was. I understand why I left. All right? And we'll leave it at that. And that's the truth, and that's the WolfMan's call on the subject. We're going to go ahead. We got a whole bunch more truth coming on, but, this is the coolest thing right here. I think there are two great experiments in college football, in my opinion, or in college sports. DP, this is for you, brother. All right? I'm going to you're going to laugh at me, man. You're going to say, no, that's not really for me, Wolf. All right? But I did this for you, okay? And I'm going to get it up here so we can see this. All right? Deion Sanders and Josh Eilert, two great experiments. One is Deion Sanders. Did he already save Colorado? Yes, probably. But can he be successful on the football field? And let's take a listen right here.
The first way to start this thing is that we have an absolutely elite, I'm talking about top level elite quarterback. Okay, and the challenge for us offensively is us to meet him on his level.
Woo! All right, let's go. DP, I'm starting off, man, is that they got a quarterback. Everybody's saying, oh, Colorado's going to stink, man. Well, they got Taj Alston for WVU. I mean, they got all these top players because everybody wanted to go play for Deion Sanders Prime, who knew how to get them to the next level. Go ahead.
When you got the magic word for me is everybody meeting at a certain level. You know what I mean? Like not playing together, meet at that level. If you set your expectations high, people will reach it. If not, they'll fall off.
Yep. Very good. All right, Hawkeye, go ahead, man.
Well, Deion come in there and he laid the law down. He said, if you don't want to be here, there's the door. He's brought in players that want to be there. I think if these kids buy in to what he's selling, Colorado's going to be all right.
Yep, I agree. Frank Fair.
Well, TP used the word narrative, change the narrative. That's really good. And the narrative we're in right now at WVU is austerity. And that's not attractive. And so I agree with Timothy Green just said a few minutes ago, hey, an elixir is winning. Go out in that field. That's not just a football team going out on the field up in Penn State College. That's West Virginia University on that field. And you have to represent the university that's in a hell of a lot of pain right now. So you gotta play it like there's no tomorrow.
Oh, solid. All right, hey, Coach Chris, go ahead.
Well, I love the fact that, Deion, say what you want to about him. He relates to those kids, and he knows how to talk to them. He knows how to get them there, and he knows how to get them to perform. And I think, no doubt, he's going to be successful wherever he's at just because he has that ability to relate. I mean, he's not that young of a guy, but he can relate to those kids, and he's going to get players, and he's going to be successful. And I agree with Frank. Winning solves a lot of problems and a lot of perception problems. And we got to win. We got to do the same thing. We got to win.
You are so correct. And I'm going to say this. You know what? Deion hasn't lost in his life. And I'm talking about he's lost a battle, but he's never lost the war, baby. He's not going to lose this one, especially when his kids that elite, and he's got others. Listen, he won at his level at Jackson State. He won there, and he was impressive. And he got guys, they believe in him, they trust him, they know that he's got their back, and that's when a team gets scary. All right, we'll move on here. Excellent. I love my topics. I love them. All right, there we go. Oh, Josh Eilert. All right, here's the next great experiment, and we'll see what happens with this. Only time tells. But here's Josh. He said he's finally had some time to sit back and reflect the past 2 months. Can't help but feel extremely gratitude. Well, you should. He got a head coaching job in the best league in the country. All right. But okay, he admits it.
No, he got 1.2 million.
Yeah, I know, exactly. And I want to take the time to thank Mother Nation for for standing with this team. We certainly have felt your support. Cool. All right. And then the staff who locked arms with me and took a leap of faith. I don't see Ronnie Everhart locking arms. All right. And the show to develop, win, and truly grateful. And to the men who chose to stay as well, all those that joined during these turbulent times where the old gold and blue, you won't regret it. What moves us all forward and every day is not only the will to win, but to make this state proud, and we will. Woo, big words by Josh. All right, I know Josh well, Coach. He's a guy that he's got a coaching staff of less than 10 years, and he's got less than 2 years, even though people say, well, he's with the operation. Well, I know the operation manager. You're not out there coaching, all right? You're getting a bus for a team, and you're making sure a hotel's right and all that. So, and then you say, well, he's the video guy. Well, yeah, I know a video guy. He's cutting it. He's in and out. He's not drawing game plans up. He's not going ahead and scouting. He's not doing that, only but for a year and a half. But now he's given the gift. Coach, 27 years you coached in high school. He's given the gift of a team, a top 25 program after 2 years of coaching.
Yeah, and sure he's grateful, and I don't know if I want the pressure that he just got put on him. I heard that President Gee said to keep his job. Of course, they wanted him to win a national championship, and I thought, man, no pressure on that guy, huh? But I actually got to go watch him practice last week for a few hours, and I think just from what I saw, and I know he's got some young guys out there with him, but they've got, they brought in an older gentleman, Coach Dickey, to kind of oversee him. And, when it comes down to it, Coach, basketball is basketball. I mean, you fundamentally, you play the game, with those fundamentals. And, I noticed it while I was watching them practice, the drills they were running, a lot of the same things that we did when I was coaching. So it's about those fundamentals and teaching those things. And again, it's about relationships and getting people to play hard for you. And I think with, Deshaun and Jordan, some of those guys, they've got people there that can relate to the players. And, basketball is basketball when you get right down to it. I think at this level, I never coached at the college level, but it seems to me that you just have to work on getting everybody to mesh, play together, chemistry. They talk about chemistry all the time. I think that's going to be a key. And but they've definitely got the talent. I didn't know that. But, yeah, I have to glad for him. I mean, he spent a long time as an assistant coach, and, he's got his shot now. So
not as assistant coach. He did not spend a long time.
Right.
2 years, takes 18 on standard to get up to the Division I. All right, there we go. DP, go ahead. Shoot it.
I just, I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm not against him, but I just, they struggled last year with Huggins. And, you bring in new guys, everybody, okay, when we get new guys, everybody gets excited, and it goes back to the same thing. They get new guys every year. I don't think you build a program that way. I think in that Big 12, some teams can get away with it. Say at Kansas can get a Hunter Dickinson from Michigan and keep plugging because they built something. Now you can't live through the portal because everybody else is doing it. You get players here and there, but you can't have a whole new team of portal players and expect to win a Big 12. How many games we're going to win? It's hard to tell. You got to see when they start playing, how they respond when things don't go right. Everything is good right now because they haven't lost no games. Nobody's got fussed at. Nobody's made a mistake on tape. You know what I mean? Nobody's got, talked about or fan get mad at someone for missing a shot and, they lost the game. So, everything's going to be chummy right now. It's early. It's still the summertime. Everybody's 0-0. What looks good on paper, numbers. Oh, he was the number one portal guy, this and that. But then we talk about the football team being number 14. So it's like, you can't believe everything you think you see on paper. At the end of the day, you got to go out there and compete.
All right, very good.
And does he have his own identity as a coach, or would he do the same thing as a Huggins? And I've seen that fail too. When someone follows somebody,
but it also
and
could
try to do the
succeed.
same thing that somebody else
It
did.
could succeed as well.
Huh?
It could succeed as well using that same philosophy. It worked once. It can work again. Hawkeye. All right, man. This is what you got here. You're looking at it. Everything's cheering. You're undefeated right now, brother. And there's nothing like it. And then all of a sudden, the whistle blows, and here comes Kansas State. Here comes Kansas. Here comes, Baylor. And you're like, woo. Man, I'll tell you, it was a lot easier when Bob Huggins was blowing the whistle or calling timeouts.
Hey, we are now the elite basketball conference. There's nobody that can compare to us in the Big 12. So they have got their work cut out for them. And I'm not going to root against these guys. They're young. Deshaun's a good friend. Love the guy. I hope that they have success, but I think they're going to be challenged. You're not going to have that experience on the bench, with 40 seconds left on the clock, drawing that play up. Who's going to take the shot? And like DP said, man, this is a whole new team. We're starting fresh. They've got challenges, but I hope they're successful. I'm going to be pulling for them.
All right, excellent. Frank Fair.
Yes, it's about it.
Frank Fair, the great experiment right now. Josh Eilert. All right, he's been there 17 years overall, 2 years as an assistant coach. All right, basketball staff less than 10 years. All right, Jordan McCabe. He got out of college. I mean, he transferred and got out of school, and he hasn't even had his time as a GA. All right, he's there. All right, the dude, he left because he wanted to dribble. He didn't want to pass. That's what we found out. Now you talk with Deshaun. Oh, I love Day. Well, are you kidding me? That's a guy, man. It's cool. And I think he'd be a great hire. I also think Alex Ruoff could be a great hire. But I think there's got to be a little bit of a grown-up in the room. Okay, so you say James Dickey. All right, is he going to be in Josh's earpiece? Is he on the bench as the senior advisor? Is he going to go? Now, this is to you, Frank, so you don't forget because I'm going in. But is he going to point at Josh and say, hey, that's a good time for a timeout?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm trying to think of another situation like this. That coaching crew doesn't get there unless there's an extraordinary. It was a crisis, and the university had to act fast. But let me say this, Wolf: it doesn't make any difference who's the coach, who the head coach is, who the assistants are, because of this. And we were talking about it earlier. What's one way that West Virginia can grow its enrollment? By winning. Students come at places like West Virginia. And so that's what both Neil Brown and Eilert are facing, the same challenge. Winning is one way to get the conversation on athletics positive, and also at a place, not at all places, but at a place like West Virginia, students follow. One story about that, remember Florida Gulf Coast 10 years ago? Made this incredible run. They were a 15 seed, I think, and went all the way to the Sweet 16. One of the administrators at Florida Gulf Coast said afterwards, when they got a significant bump, including out-of-state students applying to Florida Gulf Coast, he said, we didn't have the money to invest in a marketing plan to get the results that we got. We didn't have the money. That basketball team did it for us. Now, the problem is, at a place like Florida Gulf Coast, they can't sustain it. And that happens a lot in basketball. George Mason, University of Maryland, Baltimore County, they come and they go. But in football, at a place like West Virginia, hey, you want to bring more students? Win consistently in football and basketball.
All right.
Period.
Very good. And all of you are smart about it. All of you are good. Hey, Coach Chris, you'll be able to come back to a basketball practice. All right, because that was a good answer right there. I'm going to go with that. And I'm going to say this. All right, I'm going to say it. All right,
I'm done.
No, you're not. You never crossed the line. But I'm going to say this. All right. Let's see it. You got to prove it, man. You got to prove it. And I think Josh knows that. And that's why it's interim. And I'm all for it. But, yeah, there's challenges there, man. There are real challenges that you can't put your head in the sand and think, that you're an ostrich. Because when ostriches put their head in the sand, they think no one can see them and what they're doing. All right? You can't do that. You got to be looking around. You have to understand the roles. Josh might be the guy that does it. 2 great experiments. Deion Sanders, can he be successful? I'm like, yeah, I think he can be. Josh Eilert, I'm not as confident about him as Deion Sanders, but I am all about being a Mountaineer fan and rooting, and let's hope it happens. Very good, gentlemen. Okay, we're going to continue on here, at least one more as we move on. And let's see. Oh, where did it go? There we are.
While you're doing that, Wolf, I just want to say that there is 2 sides to every coin. Our friend in Colorado he's got to win their high expectations. Same thing at West Virginia basketball. Eilert's got to win their low expectations. It's same bottom line, but under different circumstances. If Colorado performs the way that ESPN Power Index is predicting, the question is he going to get another chance out there? It's going to be very interesting.
Well, you're saying what? The way, how is ESPN predicting him? Everybody outside Colorado is saying they're going to be lousy.
That's right.
All right.
So, but everybody is putting their money on Deion Sanders. Everybody's putting their money on Coach Prime, and so that puts pressure on him to deliver because the expectations are so high on him. The team, not so much. But the situation is different in WVU basketball.
Go ahead.
Has Colorado enrollment went up since they hired Deion?
Deion's already saved Colorado. Colorado's he's just saved it. All right, they got into the Big 12. They wouldn't have done it without Deion. Not at 1-11. All right, here we go. So Thursday, okay, Wren Baker tells Heather Lyke, the AD for Pitt, that he wants to pursue the backyard brawl, not only in football, but in all sports, but particularly in football, he wants to make it. Well, I think I've been preaching this for the last, 10 days, 2 weeks? I've been saying this because now is the time. Coach Christ, conferences are just, all rescheduling is out the window, or the scheduling is out the window. All rescheduling is open. Why not now, of all times, find one rivalry that you can live with and try to get it, especially for a WVU Pitt.
All right, I'm going to go the opposite direction everybody else is probably going to go. I'll say this. We're in the Big 12, and with that schedule, we're going to have year in and year out. I look at our schedule this year, and I thought, we're playing at Penn State, we're playing Pitt. I'm a Mountaineer fan. I love the backyard brawl. I love it when we beat Pitt. It's the best thing ever. But I just think, if your expectations are going to be to win, you got to look at places like Alabama and what their out-of-conference schedule looks like. And I know with the conference changes, things are changing like that. But right now, I think, as much as I hate to say it, I think we better try to lighten up that out-of-conference schedule a little bit because of the in-conference schedule that we have.
Okay, let me put the caveat in. All right, so yes, you're right, but Wren Baker, what he's saying is we're going to go FCS and a G5 along with that. Right. We're not going to go two P5s. All right, just so got it. DP, go ahead.
Right.
Yeah, I think you have to. You got to play. Some competition. I know you want to get a win. You're going to get a win, but if you're good enough, you don't worry about that. I coached with Lil John Thompson, and his father liked the cupcake games, the Hawaii Hulu, and all this other stuff. I mean, we was scheduling Kentucky's and the Dukes of the world, which helped us later on. I think. We didn't worry about who we played. If you're good enough, you don't worry about it. Yeah, so I think it's good for the program. It's good for, I don't know how much recruiting nowadays from Pitt and West Virginia, but, for basketball, I think it'd be good because there's some players down there that's been good over the last couple of years.
All right, Hawkeye, Michigan, 4 G5 teams out of conference.
Well, I think, it would be nice to have Pitt on the schedule every year. I would like to see these conferences maybe decide, hey, instead of all this travel, get Virginia Tech, get Pitt back on the schedule and play some of the, the BYUs and some of those guys every few years. But, you look at the SEC, they schedule all their cupcakes at the end of the year. I say that, I would rather be tested early and know where I stand and improve. I realize the SEC, I think they try to heal up before they go into the championship mode. But, yeah, we need to play Pitt every year. I think it's good for the fans, win or lose. People get really excited about it, and it generates money, man. I mean, it's a big-time game.
Moolah! Frank Fair, what do you say about Moolah?
Well, exactly. I think Hawkeye hit it as he always does. I'm looking at this through a university lens, not a football lens. Look, you've got a local school you're competing with for students, competing with for fans, for television dollars, for bragging rights. You got to play Pitt. That's your only big rival left. They're doing this. The Big Ten is already negotiating for Oregon State to play Oregon each year and for Washington State to play Washington. And again, it's the dollars. I don't know if you heard this, but Oregon State made major renovations in their stadium thinking they would have Pac-12 dollars. Oops. Now they're looking for any way to really cash in on big paydays. And I think we're in the same situation. So I'd say go for it. Have to do it, rival, get students in West Virginia that would have gone to Pitt, get bragging rights. Again, change the narrative from austerity to positive.
But don't you think?
How about
Hang
this?
on, one at a time.
Don't you think if we're 4-0 or 5-0, and we bring in, I don't know, Marshall, Youngstown State, somebody like that it's still going to be a sold-out stadium if we're 4-5-0, 6-0? I think it probably will be if you're looking at it from a money perspective. If we're winning, that's the key. We got to win. People are going to come. And, I'm not saying – I mean, I love to play Pitt every year. I think that'd be awesome. But, again, I think if you're going to get this thing straightened out and rebuilt, I think you're going to have to wait a while, till we get our program where it needs to be in order to, get that schedule tougher and tougher and tougher. And I know you have to play teams. I understand that. There's plenty of good teams in the Big 12.
Well, okay. All right, listen, but go ahead. Finish up real quick. Finish up. So I'll get my things.
The money point is it's an hour drive. You ain't to spend $1 on a hotel.
That don't matter.
You drive down there, play the game, and drive right
sold out stadium is a sold out stadium.
All right.
Yeah, but
that's good.
You ain't got to pay them
you got your points across. Now it's my time. So keep there you go. Now listen. All right, here you go. You got two conferences now in the Big 12. All right, East and West, North and South, however they want to form it up. But it's just like anything else. SEC East, SEC West, right? You don't have to play 9 games anymore. You don't have to play it because it's the 10 team. It's not a 10-team thing. You got to split it. How about this? How about get another out-of-conference game? So that you can play 4, like your Michigans, your Big Tens, or your SECs, right? Because now you got the numbers to do so. You don't have to go round robin like the Big 12 has been doing. Okay, in fact, you can't do it with 14 teams, obviously. So you go ahead and do that. Listen, you got to play Pitt. You got to get the time. It is now the time to get it. Give me one Power 5. If you're playing 4 teams, all right, give me at least one Power 5 team and let it be our rival. Don't want the first game of the season. Rather have it 3rd or 4th in there so that when we play them, we get our chance to get this team moving and gelling and going. I'll tell you what, you don't spend money flying. You don't spend money doing that. And sold out stadiums are true. Coach Chris, I hear what you're saying, but you can't play all 4 puff faces teams. You can't be all MAC teams. You can't be all FCS teams. You got to play at least one Power 5 and get in a rivalry with Pitt. Man, it's 100 plus 5, 107, 89 years tradition. That's what I have to say. All good points, gentlemen. And we'll continue on. I got to get at least this one in here, and I'll let you go.
Nick Saban disagrees, by the way.
So I would tell you, I don't ever disagree with Nick Saban. I do today. Here we go. Either Pushkar Stadium or the Calacino, or says will be renamed. Red Baker, Thursday, the press conference. WVU Red Baker discussed potentially selling naming rights to WVU stadiums and venues. Winning takes money. It's something we are evaluating. Let's hope you evaluate it hard. If there's an opportunity to monetize that, we've got to take a hard look at it. Here we go. I'm going to go DP. You're going to have it Darryl Prue Coliseum. If you got the support.
Nice.
I don't have enough money for that change.
Yeah, but it could be your supporters. Gail Clellan. Gail Clellan.
Yeah. I mean, like he got the street, and from what I'm hearing, Coach Huggins wants the Coliseum named after him. So I think it'd be good. If it's about money, why not? You know what I mean? Why not just name the stadium for a couple of years? Like, is it still Marlon Pushkin Stadium?
It is.
Like, what did that time run out for him? For his money donation for the rights to that. So it's like, because he's not here no more, and like, do you keep it? Like, what do you do? And like, that's the questions I have. Like, do you keep some name of his around? But because he's not here no more to put that kind of money in it.
He's got a statue.
Very good. Hey, thanks for that input there, Hawkeye. I knew you were sharp. Man. All right. Okay. I thought, you know what? I'm going to just for that jumping in there. They go, Frank Fear. What do you say about it?
Well, we were talking about this the other day offline, and that is, we don't like this race, but if you're in it, you got to run it, and you have to run fast. And we were talking earlier. I was talking earlier about the assistant coaches, the head coach at Michigan being endowed. You got to do that. You got to get sweets. You got to do all of this. And I'm going to give you, as you know, I'm a stat guy. I'll give you a stat here. And this is in the press up in Pennsylvania. The source is from Penn Live. Last year, full year, the difference between the money that WVU got in its athletic coffers versus the money that Penn State got in its athletic coffers minus media money. So it's basically removing the media money and just saying how much did the two schools get in revenue? The difference was $90 million. And so if you want to run with we're in an era of compression now. One conference is gone and everybody's betting it's not over. If you're in this game, you got to run as fast as you can and find as many venues you can. You got to do it ethically. I was outspoken. Michigan State did the wrong thing by signing a contract with Caesars Sportsbook. They've since dropped that. You got to find ways, legitimate, credible, ethical ways to generate revenue. And so the AD Baker is right on target.
All righty. All right, Coach Chris, what do you say about that?
I agree with Frank. Rim Baker is on target. We gotta. I mean, like Frank said, you gotta have the money to stay with the big dogs. And our state, when you look at the economy here and the way our state is, we've got to be creative to come up with ways to generate that revenue. And I don't know, courtside with Coach Chris Calacino, that sounds pretty good. Of course,
I was ring to it.
Yeah, it does, don't it? I would, hopefully they'll set that bar pretty high for whoever wants to get the naming rights and make it worthwhile. And then I'm not so sure you don't go ahead and sell some for the press box and end zones and everything else. I mean, just whatever you got to do to generate the revenue, I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
All right, because you shamelessly just plugged your own show. Go ahead.
Yes, I did. But I can promise you, I don't generate revenue to do to have my name on a ketchup bottle. So there's no chance of me getting the stadium named after me.
No, not the point. Tell us about your show.
Well, we try to have a little bit of fun. I know you've been on a couple times. You've been a great guest. Daryl's been on one time. We had a great time with him, and we just try to get on, talk a little sports. We try to cover a little high school, college. Mainly, we just like to have a good time. So we just get on, goof off on there, and have a lot of fun. It's on Thursday night, 7:30. It's live streamed. Watch it on Facebook, YouTube, Roku TV, and we're cranking back up for the next season. We've got 2 shows under our belt, and we'll be calling you guys again to get you on the show. So, Daryl, you stay ready. And by the way, Wolf, if you do come on, you'll be the first 3-time guest.
Well, I think that needs to be number one. Number 2 is I still think Daryl's kind of a middle of the road kind of guy. So 1 is good right now. Let him earn his.
Hold him off for a while.
Let's a little bit. All right. And kind of like this. All right, Hawk guys, your turn. You're on to the house. All right. Let's go back to it, man. Do you think we should be going ahead and pay to get the stadium and the Coliseum renamed?
Absolutely. The one problem is, though, who wants to stick their name on a stadium where you lose? I mean, who's lining up for this right now?
Gotta win.
Well, wait a second. They're reevaluating. We're trying to win. What?
I got to answer for that. The Washington football team and the Washington Wizards got naming rights. They've been losing for 30 years. We haven't been losing that long. So we good.
You got a point, DP. But now, who outside of the state of West Virginia right now do you really think would want to put their name on Milan Puskar Stadium?
Oh, are you kidding me? I'll tell you, there's a lot. And this is what I want. So just so y'all know about this, I want someone to come in and say, I don't want my name on there. I want Don Nalen's name on there.
Well,
That's what I want. All right, and do that or name the stadium, and then go ahead and make it Don Neyland Field, or I don't know. Mountaineer Field's always been that. Get a lot of kickback on that one. Go ahead, put Don. I'll stay to my original thing right there. All right, very good, gentlemen. So I'm telling you what, I'm going to let you go ahead and finish this off with your prediction. Your prediction, Frank. No, I'm going to go, Coach Chris. You're the guest. I want to end your show first for the third time, so I'm going to give you the first shot. All right. Your prediction for the Penn State WVU game and the score.
I was kind of hoping you'd save me to last. I was going to buck the trend, but since we are Mountaineer fans,
all right, stop. There we go. Frank Fear. I want to be three. All right, there we go. Go ahead, Frank.
Well, I'm going to say 37-21 State, but I'm going to be rooting for WVU, and I want them to show up and play hard.
All right, Hawkeye.
Well, I'll be pulling for the Mountaineers. I always do. I just want to see them play some physical football, but I'm going Penn State 44, WVU 13.
All right, EP.
Oh, that's tough. I'm going to get it a little closer. I'm going to say 28-27 WVU.
Wow.
So all the fans will stop being mad. Yeah, because I'm gonna be in DC wearing my blue and gold all week. I got some blue and gold tennis shoes, all my West Virginia stuff. So then if they lose, I won't wear it for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's easy to be in DC wearing that when you don't have to be on the field. 27.
No, I get a lot of calls. Believe me, I get a lot of calls and stuff on Facebook. So you'd be surprised.
All right, Coach Chris.
I took the pressure off those guys. I said I was going to buck the trend, so they went ahead and went with what they really were thinking instead of what they were going to say. But I'll be pulling hard for the Mountaineers, screaming, carrying on like I always do. I just think they're going to be overmatched, and I think they'll probably go down about 35-14.
All right, 35-14. And I'm not going to say what it is yet because it's too early in the week for my show. All right, very good, gentlemen. I want to thank you very much. Hey, Coach Greg Chris, 27 years. Let me get it right. Mount Hope and Midland Trail basketball Thursday night, 7:30 on Roku TV. By the way, we're going to be going to Roku TV as well, Coach. You have to help us out there, figure it out, man, because it is going to be cool, and we are building and going ahead with that. So 7:30. Appreciate you. Love your show. Daryl Prue, WVU Hopes. He's a mainstay. And hear the WolfMan's call. And for Mountaineer Hardcore Legends, when he takes over the show, unfortunately. He's kind of and then, of course, we have Hawkeye. Hawkeye, we appreciate you. Hawkeye is official. He keeps things straight. He's got the eye, man. And he's saying absolutely. And he's saying, don't worry, Hawkeye, we're going to get those renamed, baby. And we're going to make some money off of them. And Frank Fear, our author, historian. Man, we really appreciate you, brother, and all the facts you bring.
Thank you.
All right, and don't forget about the sports column. All right, gentlemen, thank you, and have a good day. We'll talk to you soon. See you again.
All
right, fellas.
All right. Well, that's good stuff, man. Hope you enjoyed that. A lot of information, a lot of different knowledge going on. Get you out of there, Coach Chris. And I'll tell you, Reno, give me a thumbs up there. Huh? You got a thumbs up? All right, good. We'll talk about that in a second, but first, let's go to Abby. And Abby is a gymnast for WVU, Parmar Stores. Abby Pearson from Pittsburgh. Here we go. Name, image, and likeness.
Hi, I'm Abby Pearson from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and when I'm back home, you will find me at my local Parmar store.
We had that gold and blue pride at your local Parmar store. We are coming to your neighborhood soon. West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Maryland, we have you covered. Download the Parmar app and sign up for the Parmar Rewards Card. Food, gas, groceries, and more, we are gold and blue proud, and we are Parmar Stores.
If there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.
All righty, that's just cool. Very cool. And we're just so happy here now. There's all that Frank Fear, the Frank Fear Hour panel. WVU perception, get it together, WVU, turn it around, find your solutions, not your problems, all right? Don't need national news, don't need that in a negative way like that. Change it to being positive. Find ways to win football, find ways to win sports, find ways to everybody at WVU to win. Okay, so here we go. This is going to be something cool because I'm bringing a man named Reno on here because we're going to talk about something that's really neat. Coming to the WolfMan's Call here on a weekly basis. It's called Cover 2 Data. It's a data blitz. It's called Moneyball. They call themselves as Moneyball for the masses. It's a whole ton of information that they get, and it's phenomenal. And what we're going to do is we're going to take that. We're going to take game film that I break down of the opponents, and that's going to be on a normally Friday show. Now, obviously, Saturday, we are at the Pallet Bar in Scott Depot. What's up? The Pallet, yeah, baby. But we're also going to be going on the network for all the WolfMan's Call network. Yeah, what's up? Yes, shout out to y'all. And not only that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to make the call. Now, Cover 2 Data, they're going to be coming on the show a little later on this week to explain a lot of it because at first it's like these numbers are crazy, but it's in-depth analytical view, and they're going to talk about the money lines, and they're not going to say, hey, whether you should bet or not. That's going to be my call, the WolfMan's Call. But with that being said, let's go ahead. What's up, a man named Reno? What are you doing?
Hey, Wolf, what are you doing?
I don't know, man. How you been sitting there?
For a little while, I was on the road, and I knew that you wanted me to call in at 5, and I was trying to make sure I find some reception. Hey, can we change jobs? I'm tired of driving and doing this stuff. I want to sit there and talk football in that den that you're in there, that studio.
Yeah, well, you know what, I would, but you got to know something first about it, you know. I mean, that would
I can learn. Dang.
Hey, you got to lay out those cigarettes too, by the way, man.
I don't
smoke. Cut it down to a pack a day.
I got a cold, brother. I got a cold. Fighting it.
Right on. All right, so let's get right to this, man. I know you've seen a little bit of it. You're not totally familiar with it, but this is going to be something that really is kind of cool, man. It's Moneyball for the masses, and let's check it out. See, if you look at this here, okay, there you go, and I'm going to pump it up. And when you look at this, Reno, and you see this, you know, I got to go back. You got to make this bigger here. I can't see it. You probably can't. As blind as you are, you can't see that.
I can't see it. I looked at that stuff from these guys. It's amazing, Wolf.
It really is.
This is exciting.
You know, and Frank Fear likes this, and you know, because of all the data, the advanced data that it does, you know it's got to be good.
Yeah.
Because Frank is on top of it all with this. But you see the betting lines up there. You come up in West Virginia. I pull this up. They got a game summary for every Power 5 team that plays, and it goes by the divisions or the conferences. Okay, so you have Big 12, of course, SEC, and they go ahead and they do the summary analysis. We've had a little bit of it. You got the Notre Dame one against Navy, and you had the USC one against San Jose State. Now, again, they're only covering Power 5 right now. They're brand new. But this is something that's so cool, so out there. If you're into football, if you're in the numbers, great. If you're not in the numbers, all you have to do is listen to my show, and I'm going to take those numbers, put it into the game film when I'm talking, right? It's a live breakdown talking, and then we're going to go ahead and make the call, and we're going to talk about some of the big calls of the week, and I'm talking about betting lines. Is that a good bet or is that not? And, of course, I have to put the disclaimer out there. It's on you. That's your call. That's not the WolfMan's Call. That's not Cover 2 Data. But I'm going to tell you what the WolfMan's Call would do. All right, you know what I mean? I'll see the saying, and I'll live with it. All right? But that's what we're going to do. But go ahead and take a look at this, Reno. Well, what's your first take on this from the numbers there, knowing that your name's Reno? So kind of a gambling town, kind of a gambling name, a man from California named Reno.
So I can't see what you have up there, but seeing what they have and
you can't see that.
I'm on the phone thing, and the in-depth information that they provide you, and how many plays are done by each player, which direction they go, what side to go. I mean, those are just general data that you're gonna. I mean, talk about one individual from a gambler's perspective. I mean, if you find out a guy's sick and they lean on that guy 60% of the time, then you kind of could grab an edge. So in the gambling world, Wolf, nothing's ever perfect, but this kind of stuff is going to give you a lean towards probably the right direction.
All right, for all you non-gamblers out there, when you say betting lines here, it looks like West Virginia is getting 20.5, 20.5. Over/under is 53. Money line is 825. What is that telling these folks there, Reno?
So 20.5 means that West Virginia is picked to. They're wanting to bet over/under. If you're going to bet the line, and you think West Virginia. They got kicked off.
Where'd you go?
I don't know. Sorry. I don't know what happened.
Continue on. Just continue.
They're going to give you 20.5 points. So automatically, if you take West Virginia, you're going to start the game with 20.5 points. It's embarrassing to be West Virginia and have a line like that. So hopefully they can step up and embarrass the Vegas line. The other thing, if you want to take Penn State, you're going to have to at least get to 20. You're going to have to at least win by 21 points to win that bet.
All right, so you got to win by 3 touchdowns plus the extra points.
Just 21 points. 21 points. No, yeah, plus the extra points. Sorry.
All right, I'm just putting it in my world, my mind as I go there. All right, very good. Because you know why? Because you couldn't actually do. Well, you could. I could go for 8. All right, never mind. I'm going down weeds out of me right here. All right, so we're going to move on here. And this, I'm seeing right here, Mountaineers are 0-for-0 against the spread and 0-for-0 versus the over/under. Obviously, it's the first game of the season. But as I'm looking here, I'm seeing right now, these are the stats that came out from last year. This is your money summary. This is your game summary. Yards per game. West Virginia last year, 398. Penn State, 424. Passing, 227. Passing, 253. Rushing, 172. 181 Penn State. So when you look at this and you say passing 227 for West Virginia, I got to tell you, right now, if Garrett Green being the starter, I'm going to think that rushing number is going to go way up. And that passing number might drop down a little bit because he's only been averaging about 113, whatever per game, but maybe 150. But I don't think I see that against Penn State. West Virginia's going to have to run the ball. And if you look at Neil Brown, what does it say? He's 18-4 when WVU rushes for 100 yards or greater. 18-4. Now that's an analytical number, is it not?
It is. That's a good number.
Well, it is a good number, but how's that when I put it in there and show you, and then on film why? Because you got a running back, you got a quarterback, Garrett Green, that can go ahead and be a threat, not only to hand the ball off behind this offensive line with a couple tight ends in there, that's good, or it can be run the ball himself, correct? That's what we're talking about. How to put those analytics to use there, a man named Reno.
This is going to be good stuff. This is fun.
Well, look at this. This week, opponent, Penn State. Line season advanced stats. I mean, this is where the plays, 834 in the offense. You can really break this down about how they like to call plays, how they like to run. When you go ahead, you look at 154 drives, right? Then you see that that's on offense. On defense, it was 150. You see the success rate, 42.9%. Okay, when you look at the defense rate, 38.3. You're looking at what they have because you're taking the Nittany Lion defense, and they're returning all but 2 starters? I mean, so you have to sit there, put that in there. You have to use these analytics if you're evaluating. You don't have to gamble, number one, okay? Number 2 is, but you can always be that smart guy in the room. You can always be me, okay? That smart guy. All right, I know you're shaking your head, Reno. Even though I can see your head out right there, all right?
I want to hear your prediction then. I want to see how close you're going to be for this first game.
We are not going to predict until we get to the Pallet. Okay.
All right.
Well, I'm not calling it out, but I'm going to tell you if I'm going to take the line, I'm going to go ahead and leave it on there. All right. So again, as we push this down, now remember, all right, cover 2 data is going to come in. Look at this, man. This is all the charts that they're giving you, and you can look at it. Rushing rate, 48.2% for WVU. Penn State, 52, almost 52%. Wow. Why? Because they have 2 running backs? With Katron Allen, running back, or Singleton? Okay, those guys over 2,000 yards. Those numbers jive. What are they going to try to do with an offensive line that right now they think is their best offensive line in the last 15 years. But see, with all this, with all these analytics, with Jay Paterno coming on the show, the son of Joe Paterno, who coached 16 years with his father, who is actually co-host a show now called for the Nittany Lions that goes to 34 million homes every week. Him and the script, Coach Tom Bradley, they both co-host the same show that I am on, and it disappears again, the same show I am on. And again, it's called Pigskin Stew 970 Pittsburgh Radio. Right? I mean, this is really cool stuff, man. So I'm just trying to introduce it. We're going to bring Cover 2 people on here to explain it, but they are going to go ahead and on the game day or the breakdowns on Fridays normally, Saturday this week for Penn State at the Pallet Bar, Scott Depot, West Virginia. Yo, what's up? And we're going to go ahead and they're going to give you the numbers. And then I'm going to make the call. See how that works? WolfMan's call. You know what I mean? See,
are you going to get the numbers from the game? You're going to get the stats from the after the game?
Well, yeah. No, not after the game. We're going to get it, later on. Don't worry about that. We're not at that level. Baby steps. All right? We're introducing this to everybody so they can understand how they can use this to help them and get either be the smartest guy in the room in football-wise or go ahead and be able to make those bets. I think that's cool. That right there is Cover 2 data, and they are going to specifically be covering West Virginia and their opponents this season for the WolfMan's call. No one else. All right, so that is something that I'm really digging right now. What do you think?
That sounds fun. It sounds awesome. I can't wait for the first game. I want to see how this all plays out.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, so do I.
I don't mean the game. I kind of know how it's going to play out.
Oh, yeah? What are you trying to say?
I thought we weren't saying.
No, well, I'm not saying. This is what you can say. What are you saying?
Hey, all I know is about 4 or 6 weeks ago, they had some computer-generated program that said West Virginia was going to lose by 7. But the line is 20.5. That doesn't make sense to me.
So you said computer-generated game. What are you talking about? Like,
didn't they do like
that mock game analysis?
Yes. What was that about?
Please. That's something silly. That's like you trying to get on there for John Madden and trying to be good. Right? I mean, and then applying and say, hey, I took West Virginia and I was only down by 7 to Penn State. And that's the way it's going to go. All right? That's not going to work there for you, buddy. All right. Anything else to add to the overall good of this show because you just brought it down?
No, I can't wait. I can't wait to see you at the Pallet, bud.
Okay, at the Pallet. You're going to be there, right?
Oh, yes. I said I would. We'll be there.
Oh, well, now you're promising me more than just yourself. All right. Very good. I appreciate that. Take care, brother. Good to have
All right. You have a good one.
You too now. All right. And I did promise you, last but not least, I believe that this defensive line for the Mountaineers needs help. And I think looking at this here, I think this his name is okay, Tomiwa Darajai. All right. So Tommy, I'm sorry I screwed you up, but a defensive lineman, 6'4", 280. He's a redshirt transfer from Kentucky. He's from Delaware, Middleton. They're in obviously Delaware, but he did transfer in and talking about this. Neil Brown talked about it, and we'll get into the Neil Brown conference that he had today. We'll get in that tomorrow, and I'll give you some clips on that and tell you my thoughts. And really interested to hear it. I know a lot of you probably already have, but I wanted to wait and see what he said for tonight so I'll tell you tomorrow. We'll get some clips up on that, and I got some other cool things I want to dive into tomorrow. But with that being said, let's go ahead and break down this Tommy, however you want to say it, because go ahead. But I really want to show it because, you know what, if a defensive line needs help, which is Mountaineer defensive line, I really do think that they need help. And Neil Brown's saying, hey, we're going to rotate 11. Well, if you're rotating 11, man, it makes me nervous. Let's just say it makes me nervous. So let's go ahead. Let's jump up on this. And he was the two-time Delaware 3A Defensive Player of the Year, and two-time first team All-State. Man, I tell you, 6'4", 228. This is good. He's got some good stuff to him, man. And I want to see this translate onto the field at college. And again, you heard Neil Brown say, hey, he's coming along. And so this team that needs this kind of help, okay, we're going to go ahead and get him going. That's going to be good news for the Mountaineers. All right, so let's go. He's defensive end right here. Watch him this. There you go. I got to actually hit the button for play. There you go. Oh, look at the swim. Woo! Do you see that swim right there? Right on over. Now, that offensive player, his head is down. And down is no good when he put the swim move. But you got to give Toby right there credit for that. He does a good job. Gets a sack. We'll watch it here 2 more times right here. Get up. Watch the swim. Oh, man, even extension. Wow. That's good. I got to like to see that. Listen, yeah, it looks easy right there, right? But that's what it's supposed to do when you're a Division I Power 5 football player. Looking good. Okay, this again is really 2 years ago. So now you see him up here up top, defensive end, and watch this. Now he went outside. Now he does what? He goes to the inside. So he can't. He's got more than one move. Check it out right there. Again, watch his knee bend. He's not standing straight up. He gets tall right there, a little bit too tall for me. He needs to work on that level. Maybe he's there right now, but right there's a little tall. He is 6'4", but golly, man, look at this. Once he goes outside, and look at how he leads the offensive lineman to the outside shoulder, and then he comes back underneath. And it's just another swim. That's a good job. He led him. He baited that offensive lineman to go outside. He came back in. That means he's thinking. Not too shabby. All right. Where's he at there? He's going to be – that circle was off, but look at this. He's coming from the top right side. There you come. Look at that. Oh, nice swim. All right. That's another sack. He's getting around. He's showing the ability to go to the outside, to press. I like it. I like the way he comes off. He comes off at a good level, good angle. This young man has got some talent. This young man needs to be developed, and you can see right here, he's coming, he's the bottom right. He's trailing, he's running, and he catches up. Look at it, he doesn't quit. He does not quit. Very good. Again, let's watch it. A little bit slower. Oh, look at his hands. He uses his hands. He's got decent knee bend. I like to see him play a little bit more knee bend right there, but it's not bad. I mean, he is 6'4". He's got a back. There's an angle there, the trajectory, and this is not too shabby. He comes around the corner. Get there. Bite it. Oh, there you go. He bit the edge. He turned it hard when he had to get hard. He was rounding off, but then he turned it. What do we got? You see him right there at the bottom? Yeah, it looks good. It's a bull rush. It's a bull rush, baby. You know what a bull rush is? That's it. I'm taking you home to mama. That's it. Come here. You're coming with me. Just taking him, and look at the sack. You got to like this. Check it out. Oh, right on up, pushing him. He worked his hands on the inside. Do you see the hands? Because it's right here. The hands, right? He's getting them tight on the inside, and that's how you control the power. Right? If you're outside, you can't bull rush that well because you're not controlling the inside. It's, go right or left, or straight. Both straight. Excellent. You know what else is good? Is a one-handed turn the shoulders bull rush because your one hand is longer than your opponent's two hands when they're trying to set up for the pass pro. Just a thought to keep in mind. Okay, look at this again. There we go. Slow-mo. There you go. Right up the middle. And push in. Good job. The bull rush. All right, next play. Oh, it's the run time. Look at the run. Look at his square. Now, listen, he bent his knees here. This is good bending of knees. Okay, that's what I talked about with his pass rushes. I thought it could be a little bit high, could work a little bit, but right here, and this is a dude that's coming in, and he's square. Look how square he is to the line of scrimmage. Dude comes away. All right, so what happens? He squeezes. That offensive player goes down, headed up for the next level to block, and what does he do? He squeezes down, because usually you think something's coming, but this, of course, is he's taking the quarterback here, but look at him square-shouldered to the line of scrimmage. All right, he didn't turn his hips, and he went and he got it. That's really pretty. That's a defensive play. Square. Look at it. Look at his knee, bro. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Look at his knee. His knees were bent. That was so good right there. So good. And I hit the wrong button. That's on me. There you go. Oh, we went right back to the beginning. That's terrible. All right, here you go. Yep. That's right where we were at. Okay. That's what happens when you hit the wrong button. You got to get better at that. Talk about working controls. And again, you're seeing the type of player he is. This is new. And he's coming up. Look at him use his hands. Look at him turn. This is sweep. This is just balls out running to the sideline right here. Balls out. He's coming in. Oh, and he makes it. I'll tell you, that's going east and west, man. That's tracking down a running back. Again, watch what he's watching the play. He's got good hands. He's got good hand separation. He gets rid of the defender. He hits, separates, throws, dishes away. Nice job. Oh, you got to like that. I mean, this is good. We're going to get a couple more here. I just wanted to show you that this is what I'm looking for. Right now, we need young guys like this. And I say we, I'm talking WVU. And, oh, look at that. See, look at the hand separation. Look at the hand separation. Okay, where you're separating yourself from the offensive guy. That's how you disengage. And he comes over with a chop across the arm, and he chops it. That's a good play. That's getting there. That plays away on the other side of the strength of the line, and he goes ahead. He separates, and then he comes with a chop, and that's how you disengage from your opponent that's trying to block you. It's pretty simple. You see here? Oh, look at that. Now look at the hand separation here. He drives. Now let's admit, this offensive lineman is not a beast right here, okay? This is what I not call beast mode for the offensive lineman. But you got to dig. Watch the hand separation right here, and he drives the offensive guy back. Oh, and he makes the tackle. He separates. Again, you got to like what his fundamental techniques are. Don't worry about the level of the competition. Okay, look what he's doing, because that's what he's supposed to be doing as a Power 5 Division I football player here. Separate, inside out. How's his technique? Pretty darn solid right there. And I'm going to say that's pretty good. All right. Let's go here. What do we got here left over? I should probably get myself up here on screen for all of you right there and talk about what we had today. We had a really good show, in my opinion. Really excellent. I appreciate the guests that we have. 5 guests, even with Reno being last. Appreciate it. Hawkeye, Frank Fear, Coach Greg Christ, and Daryl Prue, WVU Hoops Hall of Fame. You gotta love them, man. I mean, it's just they're good. They're not afraid to talk. That's why I love them on here. As you saw, they disagreed with some of what we said, and not everybody has the same opinion, and that's just the real world, is it not? Yes, there you go. That's the real world, and I think it's so important for you to be able to discuss what you want to say and do it in a way that's respectful to all. And that's my point here as I finish up and talk about the ending here to what I want to talk about. You know, there's so much disrespect going on, and I'm talking about social media. We all know, people like to hide behind their computers. People like to go ahead and say what they think. But there's some things I think that really are silly. I think people look narcissistic, ignorant, just really uneducated. And if you get out there and if you're a person that thinks that NFL player, let's just say an NFL player, is not as good as Joe Montana, not as great as Tom Brady. Okay, that's quarterbacks. All right. And you're going to go ahead and rip on them and not say that, hey, listen, I think that he's lacking in this and that, and pointing out good points, solid points. Constructive criticism is never disrespected. Constructive criticism that you are doing it in the proper way, that's okay. It's all right. But when you get out there and you're a key jockey, keys are in a computer, a key jockey, and you're like, well, this dude who's in the NFL, but he sucks. I think the one was he's ass. I'm like, whoa. Do you know how silly you sound when you do? You can rip on me and my opinions, whatever you want, it's okay. And the funny thing is I just wasn't in the mood yesterday. I was not. So I apologize to all you Twitter people out there. For all of you that went ahead and came back with a snarky remark about a nice comment about a Mountaineer. I won't even name it, but I didn't have, I gave you a chance, and then if you came back after I said, hey, time will only tell. I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to end it. Happy Sunday. Time will only tell. And he came back and just busted again. And I hit the I didn't block him. I'm sorry. I was annoyed yesterday. I wasn't in the right frame of mind, and I wasn't up to dealing with people that say these football players that I hold a tremendous respect for. Because you know why? Because they're disciplined. And it's college. I don't care. Go to high school. If you got discipline, if you're a young person, a young athlete, that I don't care if it's football, basketball, I don't care if it's women's sports, whatever it is. But if you're a person that has discipline and you go out there and you put the time in to train and you have all the good and the bad you go through and, the pain, the patience, the determination, the grit, to sustain and persevere. If you have all that, I have a high respect for you. And despite whether I think you're really good at what you do or you're maybe average, above average, below average, it's going to be in a way. But for you guys, the people that bring it and just say, they are this, and just such disdain, such vile dislike. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. And you know what? I don't buy it here on this show, and it never will be. It never will be. It absolutely is foolish. You look foolish out there. You might say, well, hey, no one knows me because I'm behind my keyboard. But I'll tell you this. I'll always stand up. And if I'm wrong, I'll admit I'm wrong. And if I'm right, I'm not going to hold it in your face because I think I got class. All right? I think I have class. But I will give you a wink, an acknowledgement. That might be as low as I go. But regardless, it's about respect, and it's about being someone with class. And to go ahead, so if you're going to attack me, fine, attack me. I don't care. My thoughts, my philosophy, I'm pretty good in my skin. But when you go ahead and you attack an athlete that is by far outclasses what you could ever do, outshine what you could ever, outachieve anything that you could do in a way of time and perseverance. It's not even being gifted athletically. It's just the work ethic. It's what they put into it. If you can't respect that and respect the athletes, then I don't have much time for you. So I may have pulled the gun on a couple of you too quick with the block. I apologize. Although I bet you won't be listening to this right now. All right. Is anybody out there that wants any comments for me? Anyone? Let's go. This is good. Funny stuff here. Funny stuff. Anyone out there? I'm giving you a chance here. I'll drop it, and I'll go through my whole rendition for everything else and talk about my network. And if you want to get on, all right, right there. There you go. I have dropped it right there, the link. You can come on the show if you want to. The link is out there. And let's go ahead and get into here, of course, and that is right there. So we have at the Pallet Bar, we have the pregame. It's going to be open minimum 5 o'clock, probably before that. I don't know, but 5 o'clock. Check with the Pallet there if you're going to be coming. And the broadcast is at 6 o'clock. And it's only to the network of restaurants. It's to the network of the West Virginia, the voice of college football. Okay, you have to subscribe. That's Voice of College Football is on YouTube. We are again coming to Roku, as I said, with Coach Chris. And also it's YouTube is at the restaurants here, which is on the WolfMan's Call Network. But if you look at this, you can see Archies there, East Carson Street. I know the wings are phenomenal. Like I know that they do a great job. And being right in the heart of the evil empire there, right with the pit people around, outstanding there. So if you're in the Pittsburgh area, go to Archie's. If you're a Mountaineer and enjoy the wings, enjoy the beverages. Route 22 Sports Bar, hey, happy 4th anniversary. Happy 4th. Yeah, I saw that on Facebook, even shared that. I mean, that is so cool. Great specials at a happy hour. You're going to watch the WolfMan's call. Man, I'll tell you what, they got some great specials there, just like all the places here. But Route 22 Sports Bar, Weirton, West Virginia. Calacino's there. That's right. Pizzeria and Sports Bar. Man, that's cool down there in Beckley, West Virginia. Jeff Weeks there, the proprietor. Appreciate him. And you got Cantrell's River City Grill and Pub. Now, Cantrell's for the special on Saturday, they're going to be serving from 6 to 7, I believe. It's buy a pint, get a pint for free, just for the WolfMan's Call special. And it's going to be good. And then you have Legends Sports Bar and Grille. And on that is Aaron Gizzy out there at Lakeview Resort. Get those golf links, man. Good job. Danny's Sports Bar down there, Princeton, West Virginia. Shout out, what's up, Paige? There you go. Thank you so much. We appreciate your support. Way down there in Bluefield, man. And then Kegler Sports Bar right here in Morgantown. And it's royalty. Jerry Lorenz, Steve and Greg Lorenz, and Dougie Moore. Love you all out there. Everybody at Kegler's. Been with me for a long time. Long relationship. And then you have the Mason Jar Saloon and Hotspot right there in Morgantown, Steve Reese. And now Steve Reese, he's got to be going down and spend most of his time down there in Fairmont to the Mason Jar Barbecue and more. Unbutton those britches. All right. Congratulations, Steve, on your move. Good job. And you have Mountaineer Tap House. Belle, Melissa right there. Give her a smile. Treat her nice and kind because she's a great gal out there looking out for everybody at Mountaineer Tap House. And then Jimmy Pointer, of course, for Jimbo's. So good at Elkins. They had opened up in Buckhannon. Jimbo's place there for the grand opening there a few weeks ago. Loved the food. The wings were great. Everything was really special. And then, of course, you got the Pitch Sports Bar and Grill down there in Dunbar, West Virginia. Right there, pretty much right there by Charleston, in that whole area there, man. I'll tell you what, really classy. You got Chef Paul down there, and we appreciate him being on. And, of course, my buddy, Rob Davis, Brickside Bar and Grill, Bridgeport, Pennsylvania, or Bridgeport, West Virginia, excuse me. And Rob, eat local, and he's got 30 drafts on tap. I tell you, these are great places to go watch the WolfMan's Call Monday through. What are you doing on a Monday at 4 o'clock if you're there hanging out, right? Watch the WolfMan's Call. So cool. Enjoy your wings. Enjoy your food. They got a ton of good food. All these fine establishments. Love it. All right. And anyone else? I put out the link. We have it. What do you got? Anything? I don't see anything. All right. Well, it looks to me like it's quitting time. Monday. Oh, first day of the WolfMan's Call. You gotta like it. And I'm going to say this again. I think it's good to keep saying it. Good to know where you're coming from. I want to tell you the truth because the truth, as I say, the tagline, the truth is always part of the call, meaning the WolfMan's Call. Again, not company line, not idiot line. A line that you can sit there and know that I'm telling you the truth of what I know what's going on. Not always, can you always be right on a situation? If I'm speculating, I'll tell you I'm speculating. If I know facts, I'll tell you I know facts. Okay? But you're going to get the truth. And the truth about the sports, the university, about, ACC, Big Ten, Pac-12, lack of it. Whatever's going down, we're going to talk and we're going to get the best guest. Just like I had Jeff Culhane, Florida State, just like bringing in Jay Paterno this week to talk Penn State. Coached 16 years under his dad at Penn State. Right? He's a quarterback coach. He's a co-host of Nittany Lion Nation. 34 million homes he goes to every week. And he co-hosts with Tom Bradley's coach, Tom Bradley's Scrap. He goes ahead and he does the pigskin stew, which I'm involved in. So I go on that every Thursday at the 6 o'clock hour. Again, all good stuff. We got the cover two data. We got so much coming down. I can't wait for all we can do this season. We're going to have high school. We're going to talk about Division II colleges and what's happening around the state in that league. And we're going to talk a little bit about Marshall as well. Find out what's going on. We're all part of West Virginia. We all got to know what's happening. And we're also going to talk about nationally what's the major conversations in each of the conferences. All right. Nobody else. I've gone ahead and put that out there for you. God bless you all. It's Penn State. Get fired up, man. I'm telling you, it's going to be fun here in the WolfMan's Call. Tune in. You can watch it at any time. If you can't watch it live, you can watch it at night. You can watch it the next day. It's always stored on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. At Wolfley64 on Twitter, at Wolfman WV on Facebook, and at West Virginia VOCFE, Voice of College Football. Everybody have a great day. God bless. How about some Zach Frazier to close us out? Let's go, Zach. Beat the Lions.
Hi, I'm Zach Frazier from Fairmont, and when I'm back home, you'll find me at my local Parmar store.
We had that gold and blue pride at your local Parmar store. We are coming to your neighborhood soon. West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Maryland, we have you covered. Download the Parmar app and sign up for the Parmar Rewards Card. Food, gas, groceries, and more, we are gold and blue proud, and we are Parmar stores.
If there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.
Northern Eagle Distributing, proudly serving Anheuser-Busch products to West Virginia. Stationers, #1 office supplier in West Virginia, always in stock. How many? The anywhere, anytime chargers, powering a connected world. Never buy AA batteries again. Rechargeable 500 times plus. Paul Mini AA USB lithium battery, as easy to charge as your cell phone. Sustainable energy, stay charged. Go green, save green. Feel the power of Paul. Order now at paulmini.com.
West Virginia United.